Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sister Zara?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
It took me a while to get in.
I know. I had to restart my computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Altabai, kya hai?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Jawad bhai.
Alhamdulillah.
Altabai, were you absent for a few days or what?
Last time I missed the class.
I see. So are you back to
Normal.
back to normal? Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I was about to call you.
No, it was just something came up last minute.
No worries, mashallah. Okay. So I hope you've been following up with the videos.
Yeah, I did
Hear
the
you.
homework.
Oh, you can't hear me, Brother Javed?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Can you hear me,
Oh.
Brother Javed? Can you hear me, Brother Javed?
Yes, assalamu alaikum. I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. Sorry, Brother Altaf. So, like last few sessions or couple of sessions were very important. So, new stuff. So, I'm sure you will catch up. Okay. So, looks like most of the people. Say sorry?
Sorry?
I can hear myself back. Okay, inshallah, we'll start. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So, if you remember in the past session, we talked about the three different states of fi'l mudari. One of the state was the natural state or the original state in which the mudari stays according to the definition we've been working on. For example, if we say zahaba yazhabu, so that's the normal state. But then there is a state known as mudari khafif. What is the meaning of mudari khafif? Anybody?
Light.
Light. Very good. So what happens is when we make a mudari khafif, we make it mansoob. Yeah. So remember that table we had, the 14 combinations, and we made the rows out of that, and zahabu become zahaba. Remember that part?
Okay.
Brother Javed, remember that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then we said, what is the reason for doing that? And then we said there are four words. When they come before mudare, then the mudare become khafif. So one of them was, what was the number one word?
Run.
Run. Very good. And the second one was?
Hun.
An. Very good job, mashallah. Okay, so the third word which we couldn't cover last time was the kai. What was the word?
Okay.
Kai. And the kai, the meaning of kai is so that. What is the meaning of kai?
So that.
So that. Okay. So if you can see my screen, I'm sure most of you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the kai meaning so that, and here is some Arabic here. And Brother Javed, let me try somebody else other than you in the first round so that I can understand that other people also know this. Ad rusu, al-arbiya, kai, afhamul Qur'ana wal hadisa. Who can translate this?
You told me not to translate, right?
Yeah, so I know you know it, so you stay quiet for a minute. Let me try some other questions because last time you did the first one.
I teach Arabic so that I understand Quran or Hadith.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I learn Quran so that
I learn Arabic so that I can understand the Quran Hadith. Sister Omema, you're right. Brother Fawad, you're right, but you Adrasu, you took it as teaching.
Yeah.
That's ta'allam. Like
Okay.
you alima or you ta'allam, right? You teach somebody, but this is adrasu. Adrasu mean from darasa, meaning you read or you are learning Arabic so that afhamul Qur'ana wal haditha.
Jazakallah khair.
Making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, brother Kabir,
Yes.
khalaqnallahu. What is khalaqnallahu?
Allah created
Allah created what?
us.
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 Kai
Yeah.
na'budu
So that
na'budahu.
so that we pray or we
Worship him.
worship. Yeah, worship.
Okay, so you saw that kai mean so that. So there is a reason. There is something happens, then you say because of that. And I will show you a verse later on when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from Surah Al-Qasas, when he told mother of Musa alayhi salam to feed the baby, and when she is scared of his life, just put him in a bucket and throw him in the river. And then the first time when she did that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave her the courage, but later on she felt really weak in the heart and she was about to give up that secret because she was like a heart of a mother. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we hadn't made her heart strong that time, she almost gave up, that secret that this boy is hers, right? But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says later in the verse that we brought him back to her, kai karratu aina, so that she can have the coolness of her eyes back. And we will inshallah look at that verse. So any question about that, Kai?
Can you give a summary?
Say that again.
Can you give a summary? I came a little bit late, sorry.
Okay, so the summary is we are still studying the Mudari Khafif. And Mudari Khafif is known as Mansoob. Mansoob in a way because when we have, for example, Zahaba, Yazhabu, then Yazhabu become Yazhaba. Yeah? And the reason for that was there are 4 words which comes before Fi'l Mudari. They convert the Fi'l Mudari into Mudari Khafif. Last time we studied 2 words, lan and an. But in this session, we are going to cover the rest of them. The number 3 was kai. Kai, the meaning is so that.
Abid bhai, but there's kai af hamu.
Yeah.
But here we are not putting fatah. We are still putting pesh, dhamma, af hamu.
Sorry, or it could be afhamal Quran. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I made a mistake in writing it. So, afhamul, no, actually, that's fine. We can always worry about it later. But the meaning of kai is like I'm doing something and then because of that reason, something will happen to me. That is where the kai is, so that. Khalaqnallahu kai na'budahu, so that Allah created us so that we worship him. So there is a reason. Yeah. Last time, Sister Zahra asked me about isn't. Sister Zahra, you there?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't, and it's also written as isn't, like this. Isn't. And it's the meaning in English is hard for me to translate, but it is like so then. And I'll try to give you an example so that you understand. The people in Urdu language, they can understand tab to. Okay. So imagine this sentence I have in English here. I said, I am learning Arabic. And if I said this much, then a friend of mine who was listening to me, he responded, so then you can understand the Quran. Am I making sense? The meaning of izan is like when you said something because of that action, somebody else assumes that something else will happen to you. For example, when I said I am learning Arabic, then my friend who was listening to me, he already assumed that, so then it will be, I can understand the Quran. Am I making any sense here? Are you guys following what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't mean because, right? It's not because.
It's like because. In a way says not because. It's then okay. Let's look at this Arabic. So this is me, and this is my friend or somebody who is listening to me. I said Adrasul Arabi. I am learning Arabic. Then he said Izan tafham al Qur'ana wal Haditha. So then you will be able to understand, or you must be able to understand Quran and the Hadith.
In Urdu, we say take.
Take is kai.
Okay.
तब तो अगर मैं कहूँ मैं अरबी सीख रहा हूँ तो आप फौरन कहें तब तो आपको उर्दू कुरान समझ आता होगा,
right?
ये बात समझ में आई? तो इस तरह है इसको. I have hard time explaining it in English, but I think the example should make it easy. That if I am saying that I am working out, then my friends say, oh, you must be losing weight. So you can also say, so you must be, something like that. So you must be, something must be happening to you because you're doing something. So I said, Adrasu al-Arabiya. So I am learning Arabic. My friend or somebody was listening to me right away commented, Izan tafham al-Qur'ana wal Haditha. Oh, so you now be able to understand the Quran and the Hadith. Yeah?
Basically what it is, like you will be able to in future, like, you know, since you're learning it,
Yeah.
you will be able to understand.
You will be able to. So
yeah.
you
will be able to.
Will be. Jazakallah khair. So you will be able to understand. You will be able to. So then you will be able to understand something, or because of that action you're doing, isn't mean because of that you are able to do something else. Okay. Then according to the grammar, there are only 4 words which supposed to make the Mudari Khafif. What are the 4 words? Lan, an, kai, izan. Izan with the right? But there are more words. And there are examples in the Quran. And what are they? They're basically 2 words, lam and hatta. Lam with the kasra, which is like li, and hatta. How many people have seen hatta in the Quran? Hatta is lots, right? Or hatta is until. Okay. So now you would say, yeah, hatta is until. So this lam here, this is maybe the 5th or 6th lam we are looking at. And last time, one of the sisters, I believe Sister Umema, asked me, how many lams are there, right? So I said, I will give her the table. I don't have the table, but I have at least 4 or 5 for all of you to understand. Now, one of the lams, the very first one we understood was Lam-e Tarif. Who remembers Lam-e Tarif?
Lam-e, what is that?
Tarif.
Tarif.
Al-Kitab.
Okay, that's okay. To make it definite.
That was the definite noun, right? So to make something. Then we also had Lam. That was the Lam-e Jara. Jar Majroor. Yes? Yeah. Is it coming back to you guys? Al-Kitab is known as Lam-e Tarif. Lam-e Jara was the Jar Majroor. Then there was Lam-e Taqid. How many times we have seen that now?
Laqad.
Remember? Laqad. And again, when we were making Jumla Ismiya, we also has Inna. And then we had the Lam. Innal insana lafi khusr. Okay, so that is known as Lam-e Taqid. Even in Mudare, we have been talking about when we had the Taqid with the Noon Khafif and Noon Sakila. Remember that? We also had a Lam there. So that is the lam of emphasis. Okay. This lam here is also has the same meaning as kai. Same meaning as kai. Understood?
Yes.
This lam pretty much means the same thing as kai. So that. Okay. This lam is also known as lam-e kai. What is it known as?
Okay.
Because the meaning of this lam is the same as kai, the Arabic people or the people of grammar also call it lam-e kai. Okay. Now, these two words by itself do not make the mudari khafif. Because if they were making it mudari khafif, then there would be 6 words and not 4. Yeah? Agree? But these two words are added additionally in this list because there is a hidden un. There is a hidden what? Un.
Un.
So that is the what, because un made what? Khafif. Remember, un was one of the words. So basically, when you see lame kai and hatta, there is a hidden un, and that is the un which is making the mudari khafif. Okay. So let's say, I can probably give you an example. And lame kai also known as lame ta'leel. What is it known as?
Lame
Lame ta'leel. Now I know it is hard for you to remember these. However, you can at least have the knowledge, you remember them in a different way. Okay, so then the next question you might say, how do I recognize these different lams? How would you know this is lame kai, this is lame jara, this is lame taki, and this is lame tari? Now, I can give you a simple rule. If there is a noun after a lam, then it is lam-e tarif. Yeah? Yep. If it's something al, can you have a al in front of a verb?
No.
The answer is no. So that is one of the actually identifying criteria.
Abid, in that case, lam will always come as an al. It will never come as lam as a standalone. Correct?
Sorry, you were cutting off. Can you please repeat your question?
What I'm saying is, in case of a noun, lam will always come with alif lam, not lam alone, by itself. It will not come by itself. Correct?
Yeah, the reason for actually, when we have al-kitab, the Arabic grammar, according to the Arabic grammar, is only lam, not the alif. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So when it is kitab, technically, when you want to make it definite, you will say al or lal. But is it hard to pronounce with the lam alone?
Yeah.
Yes, that is why they put the alif, then it becomes al-kitab. But and then if something else is here, if let's say hazal, then this and this are two sakina, so this becomes sakin. Yeah. So technically, Islam by itself, you're right. The alif is only there to make it pronunciation, and that's why I call hamzatul wasl. When there is a word before it, it gets silent. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So if the lam with the kasra like this is followed by a mudare, then you know it's a lam-e kai. Okay. So if I ask you a question, lima kharajta min al-fasli. Brother Javed, you can translate this. What is kharajta?
Why did you go out of the class?
Why did you go out of the class? Or why did you exit the class?
For what?
For what or
Why did you
why?
leave the class?
You know, limaza. Why did you leave the class? Right? So you are going to say, you could say, Kharajtu. Kharajtu is I went outside. Yeah. I went outside. Min al fasli li ashrab al ma. So that I can drink water. Okay. Making sense? Please tell me if this is not making sense. Okay. So that is what you need to understand, that kharajtu min al-fasli li ashraba al-ma. Okay, one thing, one note, kai by itself, the examples in the Quran are very rare. Okay, you will not find kai in very many places, very rare. But this lame kai is very frequent. You will find it in a lot of places. Okay. Okay. Kharajtu min al-fasli li aghsila wajhi. Now, Sister Zahra or somebody else, whoever wants to translate it. Sister,
I went out of the classroom to wash my face.
to wash my face. Now, Sister Zahra, you can do li azhiba ilal bayti.
li-
Li azhiba
ilal
ilal
bayt.
bayti. That I left the class so that I can go home.
Go to house.
Okay. So I hope that now at least you know the theory behind it. And once you see some examples or some verses in the Quran, inshallah, it will start to make sense. But this, I think it is very valuable or very interesting information we are learning here. And it should answer a lot of unanswered questions, because when I was used to read Quran and there were a lot of these, I had no idea. But now, alhamdulillah, I can understand this. So lima is one such word. Okay. Hatta mean until. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any example of hatta for you guys for today, but inshallah, I'll find out or we will come across. Yeah. So, you must have heard in the Quran, hatta tu'minu, until you believe, something like that, like a part of the ayah, not I'm giving you the whole ayah.
I think it's also in the Surah Akhaf, yeah?
Inshallah, we'll take a look at it. If you remember the words right after this, inshallah, we are going to go to Surah Akhaf and continue our translation.
Hatta zurtumul maqabir.
Hatta zurtumul maqabir, until you will see the graves.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is another word. Okay. So the second category of another state of mudare was, one of them was khafif and it was slash mansoob. The next category is akhaf and majzoom. What is akhaf?
Yeah.
When you take out something or you hide it. Like in tajweed, we have ikhfa.
Yes.
There is one of the rules of tajweed, ikhfa. And in that rule, we try to hide the noon. Yeah, the sound of the noon. And majzoom, what does the majzoom tell you? When we said mansoob, what was the hint about mansoob? That it will have a fatha. Majzoom will have
Kasra.
jazm.
No, sukoon.
Jazm and sukoon. These are the two names. Okay. We also, the sukoon is also known as jazm. So when something has a jazm on it, it will call majzoom. Okay. So in order to tell you about that, remember that table we made in the rows? We said yes, Abu. Remember that list?
Yes.
Yes, Taz, Abu. Remember that idea when we made that chart? So when we made it khafif, What did we do? We made it
Yes.
Yaz
Haba.
Haba and
Has haba.
Taz
Taz.
Haba. When we are going to make it Akhaf, we are going to say Yaz Hab Taz
أذهب.
Taz.
Hab. Get the idea?
Yes.
Okay, so that is Akhaf. And inshallah, we will cover more in the next session. But let me quickly tell you what is that. Okay, when we made Khafif, what was the word? Lan. Remember?
Mansur.
First word we learned when we were making Khafif was Lan. Right? And what did we know about Lan? That it creates a strong negation. What does it do? It creates a strong negation.
Negation.
But Lan was more for the future.
Future.
So the one word for Akhaf is Lam. What is that word?
لم.
Lam. How many times have you seen this in the Quran?
So many.
So many times.
Lan tanalul
Yes.
لم يكن الذين.
That was
Lam
Lan
yakun.
and this is Lam. So now this one is a strong negation in the same meaning, but in the Madi, in the past. Okay. So for example, what is the translation of Yazhabu Zaidun?
زيد. One.
Zaid goes,
Zaid will go.
Zaid is going, Zaid will go. That is the, what state of Mudare is this?
مرفوع.
مرفوع.
This is the original state, right?
Yeah.
This is not Khafif or Akhaf, correct? This is the original state. Yazhabu Zaidun. That means Zaid goes, Zaid is going, Zaid will go. When we say Lan Yazhaba Zaidun, what are we saying?
زيد will not go.
Zaid will never go. Like we have a strong negation. Zaid nahi jayega. Zaid will never go. Yeah. So this is the Khafif version because of the Lan. Yes. But when you have Lam, then you are going to say Lam Yazhab Zaidun. Lam, say everybody with me. Lam
Lam yazhab
Yazhab
Zaidun.
Zaidun. What did I do here? I put a jazam on it. That means Zaid never went. You see the emphasis I'm saying? If somebody was blaming Zaid for going somewhere, and Zaid is saying, I never went, or I'm trying to convince somebody, Zaid never went. So how I'm going to say? Lam yazhab Zaidun.
But is it not Muzare? It looks like past.
Yes. So what we are trying to tell, it is Mudare.
Yeah.
Okay. What are we trying to learn here, Brother Altaf? That Mudare changes its shape from its normal state to a state called Khafif. In the Khafif, Yazhabu become Yazhaba, because there is a word in front of it which forces the Mudare to change its state from who, Yazhabu, to Yazhaba. This Lan, this word, the change that it creates in Yazhabu is that it is focused on a strong negation, but future, that Zaid will never go. It is not, now the Yazhabu is not about present, it's about future. But when we go Akhaf, the Lam keyword or the word which comes before this, first of all, it makes it Yazhab, it makes it Majzoom, it puts a Sakina on the Yazhabu to Yazhab, not Fatha. And one of the characteristics is it creates the meaning of the Madi, that Zaid never went.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. So for example, what is the meaning of, let me ask you this. Ashrabu shaya. Ashrabu shaya. What is the meaning of this?
I drink.
I
Okay,
drank tea.
Brother Altaf is gonna.
Ashrabu is I drink.
I drink chai, or shaya is chai, right? Or
Chai.
tea. Or I am drinking chai, or I will drink chai. Correct?
Right.
Because
Right.
this is the original state of mudare. And this is the siga number 13 for I.
Ashrab.
Right? Ashrabu ashaya. If I have to say sharabtu shaya, sharabtu was I drank tea. Is this mazi?
Yeah.
Sharabtu
Yes.
shaya. Okay. If you want to say I don't drink chai, what are you going to say? Ma sharibtu shaya. You just put a ma in front of. How do you make a madi negative? By putting a ma in front of it, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you see any emphasis? Do you see a strong negation in ma sharabtu shaya?
No.
No. You're just saying I don't drink chai, right? Or I didn't drink chai. But if you have to say lam ashrab ashaya, then you're saying I never drank tea, or I did not drink tea. You get it? Now again, this one is hard for me to explain in English, but let me try to explain in Urdu so that you guys get it. It's like somebody is blaming you for drinking chai. So somebody said you drank the tea, and you said maine to chai pee hi nahi. You understand? You're trying to emphasize that you never did that action. Somebody was kind of blaming you. Then you say lam ashrab shaya. I never drank the tea, or I did not drink the tea, but a little bit of emphasis, a strong negation in that sentence. No, I did not drink the tea. Is that making sense?
It's making sense, Abid, but it would not mean never, because never would then imply that we use learn.
Okay, you're right. But what I'm trying to say, that it was hard for me to explain it in English. That is why I gave you the Urdu example. You're saying I haven't done that. What you're blaming?
Yeah, I've surely not done that.
So instead of never, I could say I haven't. Maybe haven't will be the right word. I haven't drunk or drank the tea. Yes. Okay, good. So another this you will find this emphasis in Surah Ikhlas.
Okay.
Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He never gave birth to anybody, and he was never given birth. You see, lam yalid, that he was not given birth. Wa lam yulad. And then he did not give birth to anyone, and nobody gave birth to him. This was the emphasis of negation in Surah Ikhlas. Now this will inshallah help you understand the correct meaning of Surah Al-Ikhlas, inshallah. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So inshallah, this should help you. I can probably go back and try to give you a summary. Now the sisters are quiet a little bit. I just want to understand they are following. So far with me, the material I covered today, are we following?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, Sister Noor, you're good?
I think so.
Okay. So let's do a quick recap. So what are we trying to learn? We are learning Fi'l Mudare. We have learned quite a bit about Fi'l Mudare. We learned what Fi'l Mudare is, and we learned the different shapes of Mudare by making those 14 combinations. Then we also learned how to make the patterns like Bab Nasara, Bab Fatha, Bab Dariba, Samia, Karuma. Remember those? And I also sent you a homework for that. Remember, with the words, and then also in the brackets, like what Bab I'm looking for. And some of you have done the homework, Jazakallah khair. Then most of you who have not done it, please, I strongly recommend you to do it. Okay. So then we said, okay, how do we make mudare negative? How do we create emphasis in mudare? After we finished all that, we came to the point where we said, by the way, mudare can change its state from its original state to a state known as khafif, meaning light. And for that, there were 4 different words: lan, an, kai, izan. So in the first session, the last session, we covered lan and an. And in this session, we learned kai and izan. And we did some examples. And I think we are pretty clear on that. Yes? Then what we did, we said, okay,
Yes.
there are 2 more words. We have lam with the kasra and hatta. And we also said they don't make the mudari khafif, but there is a hidden an. And an, we already know that it can make khafif. And this lam, along with the other lams, this is known as lam-e kai or lam-e talil, because it is the same meaning as kai. And we also said the examples in the Quran with kai is very little, but the lam-e kai is very frequently used in the Quran. Okay. So some of the examples I told you here, and then hatta I did not give you an example, but maybe we'll come across in Surah Akhaf. Then we briefly touched upon Akhaf. Okay. And for Akhaf, I said that this table we had, this is the original form, yazhabu, tazhabu. Khafi will be yazhaba, tazhaba. Akhaf will be yazhab, tazhab. And then the reason for that was there is another word known as lam, and when it comes with mudare, it changes the yazhabu into yazhab, and the meaning goes into strong negation and in the past tense. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Now, this concept will only settle down if you guys do some work on your own, because I can explain it and I can try to make it easy, but the actual success or perfection lies in your own practice. Okay. So
Is there a table like we have the table for verbs? Do we have a table for these words?
I haven't seen one, but I think with these notes, if you're making notes, these should be there. I will try to find it for you, inshallah. But for now, I think if you guys can just, take notes, that will be very good thing, inshallah. Okay, now, after this, maybe I'll continue with the Akhaf with some more examples in the next session. Then we have to come to Fele Amr and Fele Nahi. What is Fele Amr and Fele Nahi?
Fele Amr is order.
Command.
Command.
Negative.
Okay, can you guys see my camera again?
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to verbs, okay, what do you need to know in a nutshell? Okay, I'm going to give you a chart or a breakdown of what you should be able to tell me when you're dealing with verbs. So for example, identify root letters. Very important. How many percent are 3? 3.
90%.
Right? There are some known 4. They are known as rubai, but they may be 1% or less. Okay. Then there are 10 other forms of verbs, which some of them has 1 letter additional, some of them have 2 letter additional, some of them have 3 up to 4. You know, we're gonna learn those some in an advanced course. Also, when there is a verb, you need to know mazi. Madi. For example, you need to know this pattern, fa'ala. Then you also need to know the mudare of that. So that will be yaf'alu, yaf'ilu, yaf'ulu. Making sense? Now, it will be easy for you when somebody gives you the bab. So if somebody gives you noon, then you know that you're looking at this one. Yes? Okay. The next thing you need to know is the amr, meaning command, and nahi, meaning this is do and this is don't. Negation or don't do. Imperative and negative. Okay. So if I want to say do, you are
This
going to
nahi.
say if al. You could just say something like if al. If al. So how do we make a action? For example, we have yaf alu. Let's say I take this example. Okay. In this one, if you want to make a amr or command, you are going to drop the ya. So, and then the fa will become sakina. Because it was a sakina, right? Yes. And then you will also make the nas noon sakina. And here it was fatha. So can you pronounce it without the ya?
No, it's
No,
difficult.
because of the sakina, it's very hard to
No,
pronounce.
no. What
So we have to put a alif here. Okay.
Alif with fatha.
Not if
Okay.
all.
So now the
Kasra.
next question will be, is the alif going to have fatha or kasra or dhamma?
Kasra.
Is
Always
it going to
kasra.
be uf alu or uf al? Is it if al or is it af al?
If'al.
If'al.
So the rule is, good, you're right. When it is fatha or kasra, is always going to be kasra.
Yeah.
Making sense?
Yes.
But if it is fatha dhamma, then it's going to be uf al.
Uf'al.
Uf al. Making sense?
Yes.
So these are the few things next time you need to know. Oh, I'm dealing with verbs. What are the root letters? Okay. What is the bab? What is the pattern? What is the madi look like? What is the mudare look like? What is the amr and what is the nahi? Okay. And I'm going to give you a detailed lecture on this, inshallah, next time, or one of the lectures will be on fele amr. And then you also need to know the fire, and you need to know the maf'ul. Okay. For example, if I have the word nasara, I give you an example. Nasara, what is it? Madi.
I help. He helped.
He
Nasara is
helped.
Madi, right?
Yes.
Yan
Yansuru.
I help.
suru. What is it? Mudare.
Mudari.
Yeah. Okay. Then it will be
Unsur.
unsur. What is the command? Help.
Unsur. Help.
You help. I'm giving you a command. Okay. La unsur.
Don't help.
Don't help. Okay. What is the file? Nasir. Helper. Get it? File is
Yes.
Nasir.
Nasir.
Mansur.
Masdar.
The one who is helped. Who was helped. Understand now that how one word can be so many words. Nasara, Yansuru, Unsur, La Tansur, Nasir, Mansur. Then one thing left is known as Masdar, which is the name of the verb. And that will be Nasran or Nasrun. Yeah? Nasrun. Okay? Yes, sir.
Question. This negation or fail and nahi,
Yes.
you are saying we are putting la, right?
No, that
Is
is
it-
not negation. It's imperative command.
Okay.
For example, when you're talking to Allah, obviously you cannot command Allah, so you are requesting him, right?
Right.
So you say astaghfir or aghfir or क्या कहते हैं उसको ighfir li or ighfir zunubi, something like that. You're asking for Ya Allah mujhe maaf kar de, right? So that is a command, that is a request. When you say do, that is a command. But negation mean when you are denying, you're making it negative. You're saying no, that never happened. But there is a difference between negation and command and nahi. Is that making sense?
Right. Right.
Okay. So
What is masdar? Can you
if
say
I
again?
say sit, that's a command. If I say don't sit, that is a nahi. Imperative mean positive, something to do, and then negative is nahi. Negative is the opposite of the command. So I say do or don't do. Yes.
So I somehow I remember, maybe I'm wrong. Was it not naf al?
No. Nafal will be for the 14th siga. For that
We
we do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So
don't
it's
confuse that. This is a command. Nafal meaning we do. And
we do.
command
Okay.
you can do only to the second person. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
How do you say don't sit?
Don't sit will be la ijlis.
like
So you do add Allah.
Yeah, you still have to say la because that's negation. So yeah, if you take that into consideration, that is a negation. You're right. La
Okay.
ijlis mean don't sit.
Don't
Ijlis
sit.
sit. La ijlis don't sit. You're right.
Okay. Thank you.
What is
Thank you.
masdar? Can you say it again?
Masdar is the name of the verb. Okay. Okay. For example, abada yabudu. Abid file. Mabud maf'ul. Ibada masdar. Okay. We will get to that in more
How
detail.
about a nasr? What is
Nasara,
masdar?
I said Nasara yansuru. Nasir file, Mansur maf'ul, and Nasrun is the masdar.
name of the word.
Okay. Because remember, even a verb is a noun. It has a name. It's a name of an action. What makes a noun different from a verb? The verb has a tense in it. It has some sort of time perspective in it. Is it mazi? Is it mudare? Is it like present? Is it future? Making sense? So we have another 10 minutes. So let's quickly do some translation from our Surah Akhaf. I think we were on verse number 26. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman rahim. So right away you see kul. Kul is, oh, you don't see, sorry. Let me share the screen. Okay, can you see now?
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see, what is this? Kul. Kul mean fi'l amr. Say. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have to make the madi of this, there will be qala. Qala. And what will be the mudari of it?
يقول
Yakul or yak, right? Yakul. Then if you make the yakul into imperative, the ya will be gone, right?
yes
Okay. There is more reasons in here that it becomes a kul, but it is a fi'l amr. Kulillahu. Who is saying it? Who is giving the order? Allah said, Allah is saying, say. Alamu. Allah knows best. Who knows best? Say, Allah knows best. Say, who is saying? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to who?
Kul is imperative.
Yes. It's fi'l al-amr, right? It's a singular.
It's a fail with only two root letters? Or?
Yes, as I was saying that when it comes to Kala Yakulu, there are more Arabic grammar rules which we do not know at the moment. So just leave it to this for right now. But inshallah, we will talk about that. There are some rules where things get akhaf or they just taken out. Okay. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding Surah Ashab Kahf, Kul, say, Allah knows. Allahu alamu. What is alamu?
I know.
It's the same thing as afalu, right? Knows best. Bima. About what? Labisu. That how?
Alam. Alam is I know, is it?
It's actually, it's an adjective. Alamu, knows best. Okay. It says right here adjective, even though it sounds like a verb to me, right? Isn't it look like a mudari?
Alam. Alam.
Alamu. Okay. Bima labisu. What does labisu mean? They remain.
Stay.
Lahu, for him, ghaibus samawati wal ard, of the heavens and the earth. The Allah knows how long they remain. Like about the time frame, only Allah knows the exact number. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the previous verse said they were in the cave for how long? 309 years. Okay, because Allah knows is the unseen of the heavens and the earth. Absir. What is absir?
Clearly see.
He clearly sees.
Yes.
Or how clearly he sees. Absir is also fi'l amr. How do we make absir? Basara.
Yabsir.
Yabsiru. Absir.
Absir.
Yeah. Basara. Yabsiru. Absir. Okay. Bihi. Of it. Wa asma'. What is asma'? And he is the one who clearly hears. Ma lahum min dunihi min waliyun wala yushriku fi hukmihi ahada. So if we look at these verses so that we understand better, is verse number 18 and 26. Okay. (18, 26). We're in the last, the end of the story of Kahf. So those people in the cave, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still talking about them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, say, Allah is most knowing of how long they remained. Like for example, about the period, how long they remained. Allah, even though in the previous verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they were in the grave for 309 years. He has knowledge of the unseen aspects of the heaven and the earth. How seeing is he and how hearing. They have not beside him any protector, and he shares not his legislation with anyone. So wali, min dunihi min wali. Wali is a protector. So we do not have any protectors beside him. Wala yushriku. What is yushriku? What kind of fail is it? Mudare. Meaning, and not he shares in his commands with anyone. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not take any consultation with anybody. Nobody can say, Allah, you do this or you do that. Whatever he does, he is alone in his that. There is no partners in his commands. Is that making clear? Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yashrik. What's the difference between yashriku and yushriku?
There is no yashriku. This is yushriku.
Oh.
So sharika, you have to look at the table, and it looks like it is on dariba pattern. Yeah, or hasiba.
Yeah, still yash.
Okay, let's take a look here. So where did he go? Yushrik. So this is fi'l mudare, yeah? So we need to know which pattern is that. Yushriku, Dariba is not
Hasiba.
that. So hasiba, but is
Hasiba.
yushriku.
Yeah, see.
We need to look at this, why there is a dhamma here. Yushriku. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll get back to you on this one, inshallah. Okay, let's look at the next one. Watlu Mahia. Now, watlu is again and recite. Is it Fele Amr?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Ma'uhiya. What has been revealed? Ilaika.
To you.
To you. Min kitabi rabbik.
From the
Of
book
the
of
book
Allah.
of your Lord. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding who? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
To do what? The recite what has been revealed to you of the book of your Lord. La mubaddila. La is what?
Don't change.
None can change likalimatihi, his words. Can anybody change the words of the Quran?
No, not possible.
وَلَن تَجِدَ مِن دُونِهِ مُلْتَهَدًا. And walan, lan is
Never. Strong
never.
negation.
Tajida, mudare khafif.
Fight.
Is it mudare khafif or mudare
Yeah.
normal?
Khafif.
Normal will be tajidu.
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 Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So min dunihi multahada mean beside him a refuge. So if you are looking for some refuge, you cannot find any refuge other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. And recite, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what has been revealed to you of the book of your Lord. There is no change, no changer of his words, and never will you find in other than him a refuge. Making sense?
Yes.
Okay. So again, if we look at this ayah from here, then we can read some of this. So we have watlu fele amr, and waw is the and. Ma isme mausul, uhiya is has been revealed, and it is passive perfect verb. What is passive? You remember active voice and passive voice?
Yes.
So it's uhiya, meaning has been revealed to him. Ilaika,
Usually is also passive.
looks
Yeah,
like
I
it is a
think so.
passive verb.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think it's a, but it doesn't say it here. It doesn't say that it's passive, but it sounds like it's a passive word, but we'll get back to you on that. Min kitabi rabbik, from your Lord's book. La mubaddila, accusative masculine, active participle, isme mansub. It's a noun. Mubaddila, because of the lam and the fatha, it is mansub. Likalimatihi. What is this? Which lam is this here?
Preposition.
Lame?
Lam ja.
Lame jara.
Ja.
Right?
Yeah.
Walan tajida, and you will find min dunihi, beside him, multahada, a refuge. Okay? Let's do one more verse and then we'll call it a day. Wasbir. Is it fele amr?
Yes.
Yes.
And be patient. Now, who's giving this command to who?
Allah
subhanahu wa
to
ta'ala.
Allah
Prophet
subhanahu wa ta'ala is
Muhammad
commanding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nafsaka, yourself,
yourself.
and be patient yourself. Ma'al lazina, with those who yad'una. What is yad'una? Fela mudare. The one who calls, the more than people. Rabbuhum, their Lord. Bil ghadati wal ashiyi, in the morning and the evening, desiring wajhahu, his face. What does that mean? That be patient in yourself with the believers who are right next to you, who call their Lord day and night just for his pleasure. Okay? Wala ta'du aynaka, and ta'du is, and then let not pass beyond aynaka, your eyes, anhum, over them, turidu zinatul hayati dunya, desiring adornment of the life of the world, wala tuti, and do not obey. Is it fele amr? But actually this is fele mudare majzoom. We just Learn this. Wala tuti'. There is a jazm. Yeah?
What
It's
is?
fi'l mudari majzoom. Okay? And do not obey man aghfalna kalbahu, whom we have made heedless, an zikrina, from our remembrance, wattaba'a hawahu, and he follows his desires, wa kana amruhu furuta, and his affair in excess. Now, do you know the background of this verse? Does anybody know the background of this verse? Do you want me to tell you a little bit? Or you
Yes.
guys want to go? Okay. So what happened one time, the leaders of the mushrikeen, they used to come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now guess who's sitting around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The companions. Who were the companions? For example, Hazrat Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Who was Hazrat Bilal? Hazrat Bilal was the slave. He was freed by Abu Bakr, but the same, the leaders, the mushrikeen leader, when they come to the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said to him one time that, you know what, we would like to listen to you. Huh? They said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we would like to listen to you and maybe think about it, what you're saying, but it is too much for us to sit with our own slaves in your company, because these are the followers of you have. Why don't you, when we come to meet with you, why don't you tell them to leave the room or tell them to go away so that we can have, you know, a gentleman to gentleman talk. We don't want to talk to these lowly people. You understand the situation?
Yeah.
And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, because he has the desire that if a leader becomes a Muslim or if he accepts Islam, then everybody who follows him will follow him. So he's thinking about Islam. So this thought did cross his mind, and one of the companions said, "Ya Rasulullah, what is the, you know, harm in it? You know, when we are talking to these leaders, maybe we can tell the other people to leave the room." And these verses were revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then don't even think about it. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. These are the people who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day and night, and only desiring the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never ever take your eyes away from them. Turidu, in desiring the zinatul hayat. Even though Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has no desire for the dunya, but he was thinking about the future of Islam, and he was thinking, okay, then he did not do that afterward. And these verses not only came first time, there were a number of occasions like this, and in different surahs, these instructions or you know, or commands came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he strictly told Rasulullah that don't do that. Don't let these people away from you. Doesn't matter who comes to you, because these are the real sincere people who follows you and they are desiring the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who remember surah, what's his name?
Surah Abbas.
Abbas, when the blind person came.
Abasa wa tawalla an
Abasa
ja'ahu
wa tawalla. Okay. So no disrespect to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was always thinking about the betterment of Islam. But when this proposal came, the thought did cross his mind, or he pondered for a second, because some of his companions said there is no harm in it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right away put an end to this and said, no, this cannot happen. Okay, so Jazakallah khairan. I hope this increases the level of iman in our hearts, and we have more reverence for these companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hold them in such high regard, and that the verses were revealed based on what happens to them. So may Allah accept it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair. Have a nice weekend, inshallah. We will talk on Monday.
Jazakallah.
Khairan. Good night.
Jazakumullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Salam.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.